two classmates of mine in college got a job as draftspeople on Michael Collins designing sets, and I thought, I love the sound of that. It's different to architecture in that you're not worried about weathering, you're not worried about dampness and regulations, none of that, it's just the look. And there's a trick in being able to design that and know how to do it, but still make it look real, if you know what I mean. So, and the following year I got in and managed to go in making models and doing drafting, and got to know the designer and took off from there. British designers and one Irish set decorator, a woman called Josie McAvin. I worked with her on the Magnificent Ambersons. She was a set decorator on that. She had previously won an Oscar with another designer called Brian Ackland Snow. They took me on board as set designer stroke art director working with them, and she was brilliant. And she kind of guided me for the first couple of years as to how to do my job. Then you had the likes of Brian Ackland Snow, another Oscar winner, who loved teaching people what the ins and outs were, what the details were in relation to how do you build a film set. We have a guild system set up, so anything to do with set design, graphics, research, anything to do with that, if you have an interest in that, there are people within the guild who have that knowledge, and they're more than willing to help. So my first thing would be to advise somebody, get in touch with the guild. So the Art Directors Guild of Ireland is for us, the adgi.ie, because we need to grow the industry. It's one of those things, the industry at the moment is quite small, and it needs to grow because the number of films coming through, the number of TV shows coming through is just massive. We can't cope with the number of the amount of work coming through, so we need to bring people in. If you have any interest, get in touch with the guilds, get in touch with anybody who works in the industry, and they'll steer you in the right direction. I work as a production designer, right, where you literally deal directly with the director and the DP. The director is worried about actors, performances, the overall look, the overall feel. The DP is obviously worried about lighting, colours, getting the right angles, making the camera work for the show as well. And the production designer is the third person in that group who's worried about the look. So everything on camera that's not an actor and it's not not costume, has to come through the production designer. I just love making movies. I love telling stories. I love being part of that process. I'll give you an example. You design a building, a large building, it might take you 6 months to design it, right? On the film set, or when you work in the film industry, you've got 3 weeks. Maximum. You design it, get the construction drawings done. It's probably built a month afterwards. So it's really fast. So the whole process is really, really fast. I love that. I love that kind of sense of excitement and nerves and stress that go with it. So yeah, it's addictive. It kind of is addictive. You need some form of drafting background, right? Whether it's in a technical college learning how to do drafting, whether it's in secondary school. I've seen people come out of Leaving Cert with 3D modelling skills that I would give my left arm to have. Just knowing SketchUp or Rhino or any of those 3D modelling applications, having any of those is brilliant. The best thing you can have about yourself when you get into the film industry like that is being a keen observer. If you're watching a movie, look at the background. Is it real? Do you think it's a set? And even in everyday life, just looking on the street in modern day and watching everything. Watching the cars, watching the people move around, how are the shops dressed, what is the window dressing like, what would it have been 40 years ago, what would it have been 100 years ago? And it's having an interest in that kind of stuff that you either have it or you don't. It's one of those things. You have an interest in things around you or you don't. Most people do. The people. Without question, the people. The lack of an ego in most of the people I've worked with in Ireland, they just get on with it. They're down to earth. They love what they do. Most of them love what they do. They're interested. They don't have egos, and you can talk person to person quite easily. Even working abroad, some of the funniest things that happened to me are working abroad on a film set and standing next to somebody, not knowing who they were, and suddenly hear them speak, and you kind of go, "Oh my God, they're Irish." And it creates this connection. And there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us who've actually worked all over the world, and we've been lucky enough to kind of get really good jobs where we've travelled to Turkey or Thailand or America or Australia or France or wherever. Yeah, they're rock solid. Working in a job over in Thailand, back around 1999. It was a Jackie Chan movie. A thing called, we called it High Binders, but they changed the name to The Medallion afterwards. And one of the scenes we had to shoot was on the deck of a cargo ship. We had to hop on speedboats in Bangkok. We drove out, or went out to the boats for about 10 miles, 10 or 12 miles. We had to climb up the ladder at the side of the ship while she was moving, right? Literally climbing up this ladder. And I got onto the ship, worked out what the scenes were going to be, worked out how we were going to use these containers on the back of the ship, because we had to move them around for the show. And there was one moment where they wanted someone to stand on top of a crane. Nobody wanted to do it, and I was young and I was stupid, right? I kind of put the hand in the air and says, I'll do it. And I hopped in the crane and I hopped in the hook, grabbed onto it, and they took me up 60 feet. The whole crew were going, that was awesome, man, that was awesome, right? It's still stuck in my head to this day. It's like, God, that would never happen.